Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. I am super excited. My guest, Sonja Marie, is here, and she is going to share all about who she is and what it is that she does. So, Sonja, take it away.
Thank you, Tammy, for inviting me. What is it that you'd like to know, young lady?
Let's get into how, share with the people, what it is that you do or who you are basically first.
You know what? I'm a lot of things, but first and foremost, I am a child of God, and I just believe that what I do, who I am, the mother that I am, the purpose that I have, all comes from the space of just doing what God tells me to do. Oftentimes, the human in me doesn't agree and or throws a little fit, but at the same time, as long as I'm listening, as long as I'm moving according to what it is that I hear and I believe is true for myself, I move according to God's plan, and that's who I am. So, in title and in what do you call it? Vocation. I am a Renaissance artist, so to speak, in the sense that I'm a writer, I'm a performer, I'm a poet, I'm a healer of sorts. And I say that in quotes because I believe we do our own healing. I just to assist, I just assisted along a little bit. So through my knowledge and through my insight as a seer, as a person who, connects to people's ancestors, as well as utilizing the knowledge of astrology, I just do my best to help people get better and see the truth within themselves. Even in my poetry and in my artist life, I do that as well. So that's who I am, Tammy.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Help people to get better and see the truth within themselves.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
That's why
powerful.
we're here.
That is powerful. So tell me, how did you get to this space? I know you weren't born, doing this.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you honestly, as much as I would say probably not, I kind of think that I am. So the whole, I'm a pull back into the story because I believe that we all have come on the planet knowing exactly what it is that we need to do. And then as the years go and as conditioning applies onto our lives and heartbreaks and blah and all blah blah and all this stuff happens, we start to get stunted in a way of not knowing or clouded in not knowing and realizing what we came here to do. So we start to remember all over again. So even though you may say it in a funny way, I kind of thought I knew what I was doing when I came here. And I had to be reminded by an awesome sister who called me or Facebooked me out of like the blue about a year ago and was like, Sonja, when we were 8, 9, 10, you were always encouraging us to do better. I was like, wait, what? Like literally just to make the point that you just made, like I had to go back into my memory and say, oh, wow, I kind of did come through like this and didn't put a career on it, right? Like I didn't put the knowledge or the vocation, the title on the thing, you know what I mean?
I do.
So I kind of came through with that, but then at the same time, Yonkers, New York kind of hits you in the throat. Conditionings being Black and brown in this weird America. And things get stunted and slowed down and you get caught up in situations. But I went to Hampton. That was a nice little saving grace. My mother made sure, my grandfather made sure that I went to Hampton so I can like branch out. And in that branching out, I discovered a lot of things, not only about myself, about the world. One of the things is like astrology. Even though my mother introduced it to me, when I went out into the world, I started realizing like, oh, we can apply this. Like spiritually and metaphysically, this works. It's connected. It's all one. So that part of me started to develop simultaneously. The poet in me developed, and then I, got into doing music and poetry professionally. And that worked out, and it's still working out. But the astrology part and the awareness part is throughout everything, my poetry, my performances, my books that I write, because it is about that, Tammy. It's about like, what's the reason why we here? And not to just live our purpose, but we are here to not only live our purpose, but to figure this thing out. figure it out. I always like to say that the planet is a gym. We came down on the gym to work it out. You know,
Oh my God.
this is the gym for sure. So sometimes when you go to the gym, you got all these emotions. You know, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to go. You sit in the car for 4 hours.
Or you, or you go in and you sit on a machine, but you don't actually do nothing. You sit on the
Exactly.
machine and get your phone out.
Well, how about this analogy? Or you come in like big badass Popeye and flex it all around the thing and ain't doing nothing. Not a daggone thing. You ain't lift a weight, no nothing. You still 563 pounds. I'm just saying, that's life. That's life.
It really,
You know.
oh,
Listen,
ooh.
I'm just telling it like I see it anyway. So yeah, I did my best to kind of stay on that road, Tammy, you know, through all the urbanisms and all the setbacks and all the things. I just see good in folks. I'm like, I don't think we are who they say we are. That's always been my thing. I got a question. Wait a minute, I'm that kid in the classroom. Like, excuse me, oh, you again,
Wait a minute.
Sonja.
No. Go back. Go back to what you said before that.
How about that? Wait, hold on. Holla.
I was gonna say, I know when I was a kid, that whole thing was, you're just too much. You're just too much. Either too much or what's the other one? Too sensitive.
I always got, well, I got both. I absolutely got both. And I started to realize now that was another thing, Tammy, because astrology helped me to recognize. Now, this is what I see about astrology. This is my own personal definition and business model of astrology, is that it is our personality that helps to administer our soul's journey. It's not God. It's not our angels. It's not the Bible. It's not religion even. It's energy that comes off as our personality to help us to deliver why we came on the planet to work out. Help us to deliver the purpose here. Now, our personality can get in the way a lot of times, being fixed signs like Aquarius and Scorpio and Taurus and being stubborn in their own way. And, stubborn people can stand in the way of the flow in which spirit is trying to tell you what to do. So if I, as your astrologer, or someone advising you in a way and say, hey, you might want to loosen up that cork a little bit. You got all this Taurus energy. You might want to flow a little bit. Put some water on that earth. You know what I mean? Put some water on that, or burn it up and start all over. Put some fire on that thing, as above, so below, Tammy. I mean, this information is not only true, it's reflected.
Yes.
Existence.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
That's what we're here for. I am so excited to hear that, because a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
They don't realize, and it's what I notice is that so many people are, of course, down on what they're not up on. And so they don't realize that this information, just this type of arena can take you so many places and open doors and show you and give you clarity, because you did a reading for me one day on YouTube, and that thing opened me up, so I went back and I listened to it again and I took notes.
That's awesome.
because because the things you said, I mean, you didn't know me, but the things you said was like, I said, good God Almighty, do I have that on the internet?
And I have to say that even in private readings, I have to remind people, like, I don't remember what I say. If I open up, it like literally just flows on through, and folks will see me or talk to me months later and be like, that thing you said. I'm like, I'm sorry, that wasn't me. Like, I'm glad it helped, but please don't put that on me.
I feel you. I do the same thing, and I have people that come back and like, remember you told me, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. No, I don't.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on what you just said about how important it is to see all of this, right? Yeah. But going back to the point that I believe that we said off camera, the real reason why they don't want us to see all of this is because it It absolutely flows in line with their idea of separatism. And as long as we are separate from each other, as long as we are separate from the real power, and you can call the real power God, Yahweh, banana,
Whatever. Yeah.
none, zero. It don't even matter.
No.
It's the bottom line is that there's an energy that's pulsating and connecting all of us.
Yes.
All
Yes.
of us together.
Yes.
When we decide that that is the truth, we don't need those certain days in power to control our existence any longer.
Right. Right.
Right? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? What else should I say it? Or we want to bring that conversation up about
We can bring
religion?
it up. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
So, I mean, what we talked about off camera was the separatism thing, and the
Yes.
fact that we've grown up in our culture, Black and brown cultures, especially in Baptist churches and Christianity and all, running from astrology, running from anything that's
Yes.
metaphysical,
Yes.
running from anything that predates Christianity and
Yes.
Catholicism. Anything that predates that. Why? Because it takes the power off of the people who utilized religion to control us in the first place.
Absolutely.
Once you take away their tool, they can't control. They can't be rich. They can't be in power.
Yes.
Can't take over countries.
Yes.
They can't colonize. They showed up on the land with Bibles in their hand, saying that they had a message.
I was gonna say, and we already
Yes.
had. We already knew. We already knew.
But it wasn't even about the message. It was about the money because we turned our own in. It's this weird thing of separatism and power and all of that takes us away from ourselves, Tammy.
Yes.
And astrology is just one modality.
It's just a tool, and I tell
tool.
people that it's like, because I used to get a lot of hate on my YouTube. A lot. I mean, I used to get people saying stuff like, uh, you're working for the devil, you're Satan, all
Me
these kind of
too.
things. And I said, you know what? And I used to hurt my feelings at first, but then after a while, I was like, you know what? Who are you? Number one.
First of all.
And then the next thing is, fuck you. That's the other one.
Right.
And I was like, no, because when I was deep in the church, they called me a prophetess. I said, and so now I'm a different, you know what I mean? I'm what am I not working for God? What is that about?
Well, separatism teaches us as long as you originate an idea, you're in power. So if I give you the title as a prophet, then I discovered your talent.
Oh, wait, just like Columbus.
Just like Columbus.
Oh, because I said that to somebody before, and then, and I'm not bashing the church, y'all. I'm not bashing the church.
No.
I said that to somebody. I said, what I noticed about me is every time I went to a church, because I went to different churches because I lived different places and stuff, And so I went to a church. Every time I would go, if they would recognize the gifts that I had, oh girl, it's like it's almost like to me, it's like I could see them seeing like dollar signs, like, oh, she can do this, she can do that. Oh, and it's like,
Again, yep, the power. The
yeah,
power. And thank you for saying that because I'm not bashing the church. I think the church is another modality. The Bible is another modality. It's something that helps us to get through, to get to the truth, to open up the proverbial gate, so to speak, so spirit can speak to us.
yes.
Whatever it takes. If it takes the pen to start hollering so we can hear God. God said, I just want to talk to you.
Yes.
And if I need to use astrology, some stones, some crystals, a Bible, whatever the case may be, then I'm going to do that.
Yes.
I'm going to utilize that because it's all energy. I need to connect with you so you can keep this little piece of rock together so I can live here and be all right.
Yes. Yes. And
it's not that deep, Tammy.
It's not. And but you got to think about it. Just like you just alluded to, it's like the control issue. And it's like they use that as a control means. And what I noticed too is, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of people from Africa, originally from Africa, and I'm not talking about us that, we're here and, I'm talking about, original people from Africa. They got this blonde hair Jesus and stuff, and yeah,
It's the same of it's the same of the same. It's
yeah,
the same of the same. That's just the
because they
bottom line.
went there for that purpose.
Bottom line. And God bless them all, because I don't want to generalize and say that all Africans are that way, or
No,
all
no,
Black
no,
people, or
no,
all
no, no,
white
no.
people for that
We're
matter,
not
because it's not about
generalizing.
that. It's not about generalizing the church
No,
and
no.
bashing, but it is to say that we are all literally living under the umbrella of dupage. We are all being duped.
Yeah.
None of us can get out of the throes of it. Unfortunately, that's what pisses me off the most, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because
Yeah.
on some level we have to succumb to it. On some level, I have to succumb to it. I'm putting on Sephora. On some level, I gotta succumb to it.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Yes,
So we
absolutely.
know what we're up against. We know what we're under, but why we gotta be separate in it? Why can't we be ourselves in it? Why we gotta follow you? That's what pisses me off. And another thing, I believe, now we really getting deep, that we all came here to do our thing.
Yeah.
And if the infamous they, are the ones that have type of business skills and organizations and could be leaders, okay, we do need leaders, but that don't mean be tyrannical leaders.
Yes.
That doesn't mean be diabolical,
Yes.
ancestral. That doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? If we're the creative
Absolutely.
ones, let us be creative. But that doesn't mean that we need to put 10 titties on the goddamn screen.
Right. I agree with all of that. That's
What's the balance? Where's the balance, man?
yeah. Yeah. And the
I
thing
mean,
about astrology is just like you said, that helps, because because it's real for one thing, and it's true, and it gives you so much freaking clarity.
yep.
And that's the thing that I find about it, and I knew that for me, I struggled with it at first because, like I said, I know I had religious blocks because I was raised in the church
Yeah.
and in the Pentecostal church in the South.
Mhm.
So that's a whole nother thing, that's like an industry.
Yep.
There's a church on every freaking corner, and yeah, all kind of little hole in the walls and whatever. But
And listen, and on some level, if we really want to dig and enlighten ourselves with most facets of it, the church allowed us to survive. The
yeah, oh
church
yeah, yeah,
brought
yeah.
us here.
It had a place.
Bad and different. It had a place,
Yeah.
but like everything, we evolve, like everything.
Yes.
We can't stay stuck in one idea, one moral, one standard, one body even. It
Right.
ain't personal that I'm gonna die one day. I just have to leave. It's evolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can we evolve out of these older ways of doing things?
Yes.
And even though it's older than it, but somehow it's coming back up in this spiral of existence to
Yes.
assist us now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The church may come back in the way that it was presented a couple hundred years from now.
I was gonna say in the way that it should be, because it should be like, a hospital for you know, the spiritually sick. That's really what it was supposed to be. That's what they created it. Even, people even go into like Jesus and stuff. Well, Jesus went out in the community and he was with the people. He wasn't up there sitting up in the church with the bishops and the elders and all those people looking down on everybody. But
Right.
he was actually out there trying to, help the people. And
Because
that's
the
the
only way
thing.
Jesus can speak about that joint is to be in it.
Exactly.
And people forget about that when we utilize astrology and spirituality. When we look at people that, like myself and like yourself, who are coming up out of the rubble, in a
Yeah.
sense, speaking this. Why? Because we lived it. Am I going to listen to the infamous they? Because they have encyclopedias of knowledge in which they didn't walk? Come on, why y'all keep doing this, man? Y'all think we stupid?
They do.
They think we dumb, Tammy.
But we
That's what.
have but we have acted that way.
Yes, we have.
And that's the thing. It's like, I'm like, don't act that way,
That's exactly right.
you know?
Allow yourself to evolve instead of recycling the same old bullshit.
You know, and I'm telling you, it took a lot for me to get to the place where I could actually just open up my mouth and speak my damn truth.
Good for
You know,
you,
and I
Mom.
really believe that I have a growth right here. I really believe that that was a part of it.
That throat chakra.
Yes. And I was like,
That's why you
okay,
attracted to this too, you know. This is for the
yes,
throat.
yes. I
Turquoise and
actually had one in my
lapis.
what you call it, but I think I dropped it. But yeah, because I have been, yeah, where, but for real, it's like, I knew that. I knew it because I said, you know what? I have to say these things because I got tired of hearing all the crap and the lies and the bullshit.
Yep,
And then I started, like I said, looking into all of this stuff. I started looking into astrology and numerology and then realizing that, what, it's all connected really.
it
And
is.
just like you said, the goal is to have us disconnected, not only from ourselves, from spirit, but from others.
From everything.
Yes, that's
Because
the goal.
once we're alone, think about it like in nature. Once
Yeah.
the wildebeest, the young wildebeest is by itself, I mean, that's a simple example, but go there poetically deep in your thoughts, for real.
Mm.
Attack us, they get us. They get us on the corner. They isolate our children, our women, our societies, our buildings, our industries,
Yeah.
our books.
Yeah.
They separate it so they can destroy it and nobody can recognize it because it's a
Yes.
lone wildebeest in the middle of the freaking dust.
Mm.
Don't nobody remember that. Won't nobody remember hip hop. Won't nobody remember the books. Won't nobody remember slavery. Won't nobody remember that. I gave you a skill. Won't nobody remember that. Come on now, Tammy. That's why I've actually like reinvented the village, if I may talk about it.
Yes, that's what I want you to talk about.
My village is something that I had like pre-COVID. I call BC, right?
Yeah.
For COVID.
I love
um,
it.
and it was dope. But what one thing that COVID did bring was Zoom. So BC didn't have a Zoom component in which we met online and I shared information with people. And then COVID came and I shut it down. Now we have a Zoom component in which we can literally come on and assist one another. It's a private online form. And yes, it's $44 a month because I'm putting out energy. So I need the energy back.
Good.
I need
That's
the
good. But
reciprocation.
that's good. Yeah,
Yes.
the other part about that is um the expectation that everything is going to be free.
And the fact that we need to invest in ourselves.
Yes.
Same
Yes.
situation said differently, but yes,
Yes.
yes, invest in you, invest in your spirit, invest in us moving forward. So with that said, the village is like, let's move forward together though, because just like we mentioned, we're one. I'm
Yes.
going through the same things you going through, Tammy. And if you can give me a little leg up one day, be like, Sonja, it's gonna be all right. This is what I need for you to do. Blah, 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 blah. You help me. I can move forward for next week so I can help you and return the favor. That's how we keep each other strong.
Yeah.
They know that if we share these codes and these secrets and this information, these
Yeah.
resources, that
Yeah.
we'll get stronger and stronger and we'll get hip,
Yeah.
more hip than we are right now. And
Well, what
trust
they say, better together.
better together.
Yeah.
And this is not just for us. This
Yeah.
is for the babies.
Yeah.
Because the things that we are indoctrinating now in the village, coming together, sharing modalities and spirituality and astrology and having conversations and getting more emotionally mature, the things that we share and see and feed into one another now, we plant into our children so they can be the beasts, you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they can be the beasts. This has nothing to do with us per se.
Yeah.
This is helping us to realize that we're not crazy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're going to benefit from it.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does the village work? Explain,
Oh, so you just go to my website and sign up on the village page or the village hut page.
Mhm.
And literally it's an automatic $44 per month. And it's a private link that you'll get. And we hook up twice a month around about the new moon and the full moon. So again, mantras will be shared, chants will be shared, again, resources and information, a lot of astrology will be shared in order to help us grow through, evolve through these changing times, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I love that because this is so needful.
Yes, yes.
And it's really, the price is reasonable because I've seen people that have these things for like 97, $100 a month and stuff like that.
You know, Tammy, it's not about breaking folks. It's definitely about the energy reciprocate,
Energy exchange.
energy exchange. And I always
Yes.
feel like when I personally am in my mindset, that mindset, I always get more. I always get more.
Of course.
You know,
But
that's
I think that's us.
yeah.
Because because my husband actually had to tell me one day, he said, well, baby, you can't give it all away. I said, I know. He said, well, I did so and so and so. He said, well, did you charge for it? I said, no.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, that's changing for us, Tammy. That's
Yeah.
changing. And I keep hearing it too, like on my walks and stuff. When I receive these downloads, Spirit is like, you deserve this. And a whole bunch of people deserve it.
Yeah.
It's not about what I keep hearing personally is just that the groups are coming together, the tribes are coming together to recognize, to put life and value within each other.
Oh, I
Meaning
love that.
to let us know that we are dope. I'm looking at you, telling you how valuable you are in the work and the work that you and the work that you do, and you look at me the same. So within that, we get courage to charge.
Yes.
Because when we reflect, you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
If I'm sitting back in the corner biting my fingernails, going, "Oh my God, I don't know," because nobody is validating this work for me. But if I step to you and I go, "Tammy, would you pay $20 for an hour?" Hell yeah, Sonja. I see you. You
You
show
want to
me
say,
your worth.
so fast, you need it now.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Truly, 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 truly. I mean, it's so many benefits of coming together as a community, but I really believe, especially in the village, we're going to tackle this emotional maturity that we have to really step into, because that holds us back in so many different ways. We can have these modalities and this in this spiritual understanding, but if we are squashing it by allowing our emotions to run us over, if we are squashing it by applying emotional conditioning, I am who I am, and that's all who I am. I'm gonna beat your ass. You better come over here. Like the conditioning that we have. I call them the committee. The committee that's in my mind that's flanked with a whole bunch of aunties and them. It's like everybody. You know, it's that energetic, emotional conditioning that we apply onto ourselves that keep us away from the spiritual understanding.
Yep. Because it keeps us blind.
Keeps us blind. We're too busy trying to sift through the jealousy and sift through the envy and sift through the pain and sift through the trauma.
Yeah.
Just sift through it all.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things is just to be aware that you not only got it, but that I'm bold enough to walk through it.
Yes.
So I'm trying to tackle all of that for the little bit of time that I have on the planet, even if that's 40 more years, because that's a little bit of time, baby.
I was getting ready to say,
we got shit to do.
I was gonna say, I just turned 55. So I feel like, I'm just being born.
Me too.
Right?
Me too. I just turned 53 in the summer, but I'm like right behind you, like feeling like, yeah,
like powerful too, right?
It's a whole nother groove.
It is. I said, you know what? Because somebody said something to me at work the other day, because I actually just started back working like 2 days a week or something. And they still keep trying to get me to work 4 and all these things. And I said,
don't do it, Tammy. Don't do
it. I'm not doing it. I said, but I started back and they were saying something. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm over 50. And they all look like, I said, I'm over 50. I said, so, I've just gotten to this place in my life where I don't give a fuck about a lot of things.
How about that?
Because it don't matter. Because we find out that in the big scheme of things, some of these little crazy shit that people talk about and deal with, it doesn't even matter. You're like, that's not even gonna matter. It don't matter now. So shut it down, let it go, figure it out, whatever you need to do.
But I'd rather be peaceful over it all. So if you want to hustle and get into the dramatics of things and earn more, maybe, possibly, then go have it. I'm gonna sit over here with my 2 cents.
Well, and not only that, I have gotten to this space, and I just got here about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. And I've gotten in this space where I just expect abundance to show up for me.
And that's the thing. Once we take the priority off the money, then here it comes. Like I'll be over here doing what I'm doing with my little bit.
Having fun.
Focus on that.
Right? I sat down last night. I was like, I need to do some stuff, on the computer and stuff. But you know what I did? I sat down and I made jewelry.
That's right.
Because that's fun for me.
That's right.
I just enjoy creating. I sat down and I made I got some little stuff from Temu, don't hit me. But I got some little stuff from Temu and I was sitting down making it and creating it, some like Christmas jewelry and shit. And I was like, this is so cute. I was like, I'm so having such a good time. But I really was like, I got this class over here I need to finish. I got this thing I need to work on. I need to, I need to put this together. I'm doing a TikTok series, all these things. And then I was like, you know what? No. Right now, I am sitting here and I'm making jewelry. And I think we were watching a movie or something. And I said, this is what I'm doing.
Because that fuels you good. Too. That fuels, yeah. And because traditionally, especially as Black and brown women, we output from that second chakra almost always, and we have to pour back into that thing.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it.
Yes, absolutely. Just, and I honestly didn't realize that until just now. I was like, and it's funny because, all the studying and all the, the law of attraction, this you see what I got right here sitting on my desk.
Oh, I love Louise Hay. That's my girl.
Too. I've been studying her. I went back and I went back into some stuff and started studying her stuff. And then I have another person I'm doing their stuff and looking through and, because I've already read this book probably about 12 times. I love it. But I'm like, let me go back and look because it's something I need to see for now.
Right. Right.
And that to me is, I always tell people, I'm like, I love this work.
Me too.
Because first it's a work on me.
Yep.
And then it's I can share.
Yep.
And you're like the second person that I interviewed today that talked about the fact that we were talking about how, all these people are talking about, let's scale, we want to show you how to scale. And she was like, no, she was like, I'm not interested in that. She said, I'm interested in helping the people that I'm supposed to help. People that are here for me, that I have a contract with, that I'm supposed to help. Those are the people I'm interested in helping. And I'm not interested in, charging $25,000 to do it.
That's exactly right.
She's like, no, I don't have to do that. She said, now, of course, I want to make money just like everybody else because it's my, my business or whatever. She said, but I'm not interested in, gouging people.
Exactly.
She said, and because we talked about, this community here, the coaching arena, whatever, how, people just want to gouge people. And it's not about, you want an energy exchange. You need an energy exchange. However, I mean, does it have to be like something that they need to second mortgage their house on, or?
How about that? See, and the way I just saw it in my mind just now is this blending of these ages. We're coming out of this age of Pisces and going into this age of Aquarius, but we had all of that colonialism, capitalistic situation that was happening. And with that vibration moving into this new age of Aquarius, that's openness, that's humanity, that's about groups, that's about tithing, that's about growing one another, can't lend to this vibration any longer. So we're kind of like in the middle of the fingers, so to speak, trying to apply some old ways to some new ways of being. Make sense? And the ones that are applying, they're not going to last too long in a sense. And this is not about wishing their demise. This is about vibration alignment. Yes. Because the work that we do only works in vibrational alignment.
Yes.
You can't
do it otherwise.
Village. You can't come together on an online forum. You can't come together at a retreat with some ill will in there and expect some miracles to happen. It will not.
Right.
It will not.
Right.
You got to, oftentimes people get pissed at me in my own retreats because I literally don't have an itinerary. Because Spirit's like, I'm going to tell you what to do when we get there.
That, girl, oh my God, that warmed my heart because that's the way I feel.
But
I
it
feel like
bugs a lot of
spirit
people out
knows.
coming from this other capitalistic, weird ass age. That's where we at, Tammy.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why you and I and people in that are kindred with us are doing our best to get strong in this space so we can usher in the new. That's
Yeah,
what's
because
going down.
it's time.
It's time.
You know, it's like, oh my God. And I'm gonna tell you, I felt so okay. So my grandmother was a pastor, preacher, teacher, evangelist, a prophetess type, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was amazing, beautiful, gifted spirit. Um, she had her own church, so we went there since I was, I don't know, 7 or 8, something. And but she was my person. So she recognized and knew about the gifts that I carried, and she actually nurtured those for me. But a lot of people didn't know that part of her because she actually, before she left here, she had started getting into like Abraham Hicks and
Look
Louise
at that.
Hay and Wayne Dyer and all these people. But everybody didn't know that. But I did because, she's my person.
Yeah.
And she actually taught me how to meditate, stuff like that, and my mom didn't even know. So I was like, yeah. So I realized that, there was a work that I'm called to do to carry on what she started, but
Usher.
in the new way,
Yes. Yes.
and that scared me really bad.
It does. It's very, very scary.
It was very scary.
Trust me
So
when I tell you.
I was gonna say, so what I want to ask you is, what would you say to somebody if they came to you like that and said, I know I'm supposed to do a thing. I know that, God has me in this place or whatever, whatever, you know, but I'm scared about it, and I don't know if I can do it. Well, how would you work with that person?
Well, first I would try to identify the fear. Like, let's be clear about what you're afraid of, because, fear is vast. So if we can identify that, then we can peel it back and I can show you that all of it leads back to you. Like, why are you afraid of you in this instance?
Yes.
So it's different reasons for different people. So I would have to get to their reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of all of that, the main reason why it is so frightening is because we are speaking things in which people don't necessarily want to hear, and again will
Yes.
chastise us for saying the things. Why it's so frightening is that the power within us is stronger than the power without us. That's why it's so frightening, because at the end of the day, we can work at Trader Joe's and do all these other odd and end jobs, but it's going to come back to that. In my opinion, I think that's where the fear really, really lodges, because we recognize we can't dodge ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? How do I get around this? How do I
Completely.
get around this? How do I say no to God? Because it literally is that urgent. Now, in my opinion, I don't think God is a bullying God. I think if you decide to kind of shut it down and not do this thing, okay, you can work at Trader Joe's, but Spirit is going to say, talk to that old lady while the one sitting over there with the lemons. Her father's standing behind her. So I don't care what you do and how you do it. You're going to talk to whoever I tell you to talk to. In Trader Joe's, with astrology, or at the White House, motherfucker, like, for real, make it happen. God is going to get what God needs to get done.
Absolutely.
So if you scared, cool. How you gonna live in this fear? You either gonna
Yeah.
go all the way out, or you gonna inch your way up. How you gonna work this out is what I would say. In a whole other way, but pretty much just like that.
I was gonna say, but that's perfect because typically that's what people need to hear, and yeah, because I laugh about it because I tell people, I said, yeah, I can't, I have to just share, I have to tell you how it comes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not go sugarcoat nothing.
Not at all. Not at all. But I will tell you, in my own journey, though, it did look like an arduous mountain climb, like, and literally certain ridges I was punching myself in the face. Certain I was hanging out, like trying to figure it out on the side of the ridge. Like, am I gonna go up to the rest of the mountain? Like,
Can I do this?
can I do this? And again, for me, it's the outsider thing. I just didn't want to always be looked as an outsider, even though I always was looked as an outsider. Exactly. So I'm like, shit, am I going to be a secret outsider or an outsider?
Right? I might as well be
I
outcast.
might as well be out. Just talk about me. Fuck it. I'm right here. What you want?
Hey, I
Like
mean,
you, I'm over holding it back is the point.
yes.
If I died tomorrow, Tammy, I would die like, thank you, Spirit. I did it. I
Yep.
did it.
Yep.
Did what I needed to do. I hit a couple of people, maybe just a couple, 20. I did my job. 20 or 20,000. It don't matter. As long as you get it out.
Yes. That's the point.
That's the
And
point.
that I love the way you said that, just really you're going to do it regardless of how, it might be the way you think it should be or it might not, but you're going to do the work.
You're going to do the work.
Yeah.
Honestly, because that energy, again, Yahweh, whoever you want to call him or her, is more powerful than any of us.
Yes.
And spirit, our soul has a mission that's bigger than any human weird idiosyncrasies ever and fear that can ever exist.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of getting older. If would you say is that the reason why we don't give a fuck is because we recognize we can't win in this thing.
No. You notice, you realize that, what, you're going to do what you're going to do.
Don't do what you're
You're
going
going
to
to
do.
go on. And then after that, you recognize that and you're like, and then you look at where you've been, because I look at all the places that I've been and all the things I've been through and all the stuff. Because I tell people, I'm like, I used to think when I was younger, I was like, you know what? I don't understand why I had to go through so much shit so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going through stuff. I was in my 20s that some of the women I knew were in their 40s and 50s were going through, and I was going through it then. And they were like, one lady asked me, she said, "How are you doing this?" I said, "You know what?" I said, "Because I don't think about it.
How
I
about
just have
that?
to do." I said, "I don't have time to think about it. Got these kids I'm raising, I don't have time. All I know to do is just get through it." I said, "And I'm not a person to ask anybody for anything. That's never been my style." I said, "And if I ask somebody for something, I really need it because, I've exhausted every other method of doing that thing, you know?"
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
"So that's me." And I said, and then plus I always been like you, I always been an outsider. I always been a black sheep. It's always, you're doing too much or you're too much or, you're so sensitive and all this kind of stuff and all that. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm okay with it.
How about
That
that?
can
And those
keep me
things,
in that
those
space.
characteristics absolutely added to the work that we do.
Yes.
We need to be sensitive in order to see people's hearts. We need to
Right.
be a little bit too much in order to push back the things that are not.
Yes, absolutely. And once you get to this space where we are and you look back and you see that, you're like, yeah, man, and for me, I thought, I'm a badass,
How about that?
you know, never really
Mm-hmm.
felt that way, until I got to this point where I said, you know what? I'm a badass,
That's
you
right.
know, I can
That's
do
right.
whatever I need to do, whatever I want to do, and, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I started just feeling the abundance. you
Mm-hmm.
know and it's not like there's been like this huge ass, I didn't win the lottery or get a huge windfall, and nobody fucking died and left me shit, none of
Right.
that kind of stuff,
Right.
but I
Right.
just feel it, so it's like I know it's here. And it's
That's
crazy because, girl, we've been getting like pieces of money here and there, and we look in the mail, girl, it was a check like from those class action things and stuff. I'm like, oh my god. I looked
nice.
down on the ground. There's 50 fucking cents, not even just a penny. I'm like, I went in the laundry, girl. I found $15 in the dryer or
Nice.
the washer. One of them. I was like, whoa! And so I just started just staying in that vibration, in that space,
That's right. That's right.
And it's like a space where I just expect everything to freaking work out. And I laugh because I've been saying that for years. Everything always works out for me.
That's right.
And it's like I got to this space now in this vibration where I believe it and I don't care what else is going on.
That's right. That's
And
right.
that's the space, right?
Yep.
It's
In
like
my
I believe it. Really?
because we
You know?
create that. We create
Yes.
that. And again, the awareness with the modalities that we use, especially, astrology helps us. It helps us to create that. you know?
Yes,
Meaning
yes.
that if we see a certain energetic shift that happens in astrology or whatever, we know what we're working on, you know. If there's a cloud that's coming, we can dip underneath the cloud, you know, to keep our ass in the house. This is not a good day.
What you say? Just chill
Just
today.
relax.
But you think about it, it's like, because I think about like the uh when the towers,
Mm-hmm.
911. And
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot of the stories about different people that they just all of a sudden something came over them and they said they weren't going to work that day. Didn't feel good, whatever. One person was like, I got a voice from spirit that told me to call in.
Yep.
And at first you think, well, I get that voice all the time. I don't think to work, but do I call it?
Like, what it sound like?
Like, right? I think I hear that every time it's happening. But you think about how that saved their life.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
I
and
mean,
it's
when it's
like,
not your time, it's not your time. And
right. I was
that's
like,
just what it comes down to. It's not personal.
I love it.
You got more to do.
I love it. I love it. Sonja, I tell you what invited me was your straightforwardness.
Thank
And I love the way you talk to the people. I love the way you talk to the people, and I love the way you just, you give what you get, and you give the guidance, and you can tell that, you have a pure heart, and that was one of the things that impressed me so when I saw you, because I watched you a few times. I did. I try to catch you on the thing. I can't always do the live because for some reason, girl, I'm a replay viewer. You know what I mean? I watch some lives, and I've been on yours a few times, but I typically will go back and do the replay because I
Oh,
have
I
to
get
go
it.
back and replay it anyway. Because
I get it.
I'll
Yeah.
listen to it, and then if it's stuff in there that I feel like is gems, I'll go back and take notes.
Right.
Because like
Nice.
you, I'm a writer as well.
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about your books and where people can get them.
I have a book called The Signs, an astrological memoir. I have another book called Squirrel, but I'm looking for a publishing deal for that as we speak. But The Signs is available on BookBaby. It's also available on my website, wordlifeastrology.com. The Signs is a different take on the sun signs. I'd like to say, I always say, as above, so below. And The Signs is stories that surround sun sign energies that have come up in my life. For instance, I believe that, we know that Taurus energy is about manifesting. Taurus is a really, really big manifestors when it comes to money and quality of life. So I talk about certain stories that have come up in my life that I had to tap into that Taurus energy to basically manifest some things. And again, as above, so below. And so in this book, I just pick up certain stories to express, to keep it fun and light. It's kind of dope. I like it with a couple of mantras in it and stuff. So
I like that.
yeah,
I'm about to grab that.
please do. It's only
Mm-hmm.
$20. Good for a
Yeah, I
Christmas
got
gift.
you.
Support some Black businesses.
Exactly. So I'll put that link. Well, they can go on your website, right?
Yes.
So I can put that link in there because that sounds amazing.
Thank you.
I'm a book person. I love books.
Thank you.
And
Thank
that
you.
one, especially interesting ones, and just your take on that sounds amazing. And listening to you talk, I already know it's good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, sort of after doing something a little different because astrology books can be, you know,
Boring.
but more so, I'll say instructional. You know what I mean? And that's what can sometimes make it a little bit boring, a little slow because it's a lot of information. So I'm
Yes.
currently putting together the Village Hut online. So it's an online astrology course, right? And I'm literally editing myself like 13, 14 videos, thinking like this is a lot. And I told my friend, I feel like I'm in college again. Like, when you just grinding, like I had my head down for weeks. And I'm like, God, this is a lot. But the bottom line is that astrology is a lot of information. If you imagine, if you just look up in the sky and look at all the stars that are placed, but think about the connection of the stars and the constellations and the planets and the heavenly bodies, like the lines, the geometric lines and the angles that they form. Those are all conversations. Those are all meanings. Those are all,
Yeah, this is how I feel.
Exactly, is the point in which I teach astrology the way that I do. I try to make it as simple as possible, but then throw the spiritual, intuitive aspect in there, because we actually know, if we pay attention to astrology, like I said, we know. If I said Mars to you right now, what words would come up around Mars? Just 3 words that you would, 3 adjectives you would put around Mars.
Red, hot, Scorpio.
Oh, now Mars used to be Scorpio's planet, but Pluto is Scorpio's planet now.
It's Pluto?
Pluto is Scorpio's planet.
When did that change?
Centuries ago, but it's okay. We won't tell nobody. You wasn't there in school that day.
I actually just read something today about that, because I was pulling up my stuff and I was like, let me see, because I keep doing it.
Yeah, it depends on whose resources you receive, because a lot of astrologers will stick with the old way of depicting who's the rulers. Jupiter is also used to be Scorpio's planet. I may be lying, but I know that they split it.
I think you're right, because I think I remember hearing that, because I said, I'm doing it in small chunks because I know I have to, because I was like,
because it's a lot.
Let me just try to understand this part.
Right. Going back,
I was actually doing like human design too, and trying to understand that stuff, and I was like, oh God,
it's a lot. So I was going back to my point, is it's like it's just not an easy situation. Astrology is, and so that's why I try to be funny with it. That's why I try to bring some poetic, some visuals.
You do a good job. I love watching you.
I appreciate that.
I mean, you actually helped me to understand some stuff. I was telling somebody, I said, and that's the other part about abundance that I wanted to bring in, just because, people think about it as just money. But I think about it as information and wisdom and knowledge. And I'm always after more and more and more wisdom. And so I feel like that's how you came in my world, because I was asking about how to, how to understand astrology, because that shit sounds like Greek to me. It sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Yes, ma'am. So like, and people talk about it and they're like, yeah, but you're blah, 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 and your gate and your moon and your stuff. I'm like, I don't know. So I decided that, I wanted to understand it, and you popped up, and I thought, wow. And then I was dealing with some other stuff, like this healing that I'm working on myself, because I got to go see a rheumatologist in February about some rheumatoid markers that they said they found. And I got to see some fucking body else next week, cardiology, because of some shit that went on after the COVID, because I had long COVID and it was terrible. And I started having, stuff, and I went to the ER, and of course, nothing, because they don't really do nothing. All they do is EKG. And so I got to follow up with cardiology, and I had all these things happening. And so I have been really, embracing and going inside myself and asking my body, what it needed, and then allowing it to heal, and just to send the energy, the Reiki energy, and all those things down and into it and stuff. And I've been dealing with that. And so I asked for, another healer, and I always call, online mentors. I said, I'm looking for another healer. So I found this other guy that popped up in my space. And I was like, okay. And so to me, when I think about that, all of that is abundance. Whatever it is that you ask for, whatever you desire, and what you need shows up for you, whether it's money or whatever. It could be time, and I mean, all kinds of things. It just shows up.
Yes,
for you. Yes. And I was like, wow, is this what this feels like?
Yes.
This is amazing.
And we have some semblance of control on it too, because what we put power on, what we put energy on, we bring to us.
Yes.
That's just it. I mean, it sounds like a meme, but it's really, really true. It's really true. It's all energy. That's just the bottom line, is that it's all energy.
So now, is your retreat filled now?
No, we have 2 spots available.
Okay, we'll talk about your retreat.
Yeah, we're going to Belize. This is the 7th annual Word Life Astrology
Oh, that's
Retreat, actually.
awesome.
Yeah, and this year we're going to Belize July 11th through the 15th. We already have about 18 people. We have 2 spots that are available. This year's theme is peace, and we are going to do our best to just sit in it. I haven't devised the itinerary yet, but I've been like receiving downloads on how it feels and how it looks, and
I love it.
it looks really, really grown this year. Like with I don't want to say no drama, because there's never really a lot of drama, but sometimes, you get energies that want to disrupt situations. I
Yes.
just feel like we need a very peaceful, open-ended space to lay everything out, and I think that's what's going to happen. Our situation, it like it's a boutique kind of hotel, but it is situated right on the water, like right on the
Ooh,
sand.
nice.
It's like a 2-bedroom duplex kind of situation. Everybody has their own room, their own king size bed, 5 different restaurants to choose from, but it's really quaint and very peaceful. I can't wait.
That is going to be so powerful. I mean, just the way you described it and the way you look when you described it, it's like, oh my God, you just started glowing. Kind of like when you talked about the village. It's like, oh my God, it's like you are in your element, and I'm so excited. That's why I
Thank
wanted you to bring it up, because I know if you needed more people, and you could talk about it, and
Oh, please,
because
yes.
people
If
want to be in
anyone
your
would like,
energy.
yeah, if anyone would like to come along, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
Please go to my website at wordlifeastrology.com/retreats. And you'll also
yeah.
see there some pictures, the past 6 retreats as well. Last year we went to Costa Rica. The year before that, we went to Mount Shasta. Year before that, we went to Yosemite. And then we kicked it off for the first 3 years in Sedona, Arizona. And there's always some component, like I said, of a modality of such, like we do yoga or, chants or something like that. Whatever the theme is, we formulate certain modalities and gatherings, and even writing workshops around the theme. So I'm excited for this year again.
So nice. I'm so excited about that. Because I mean, you think about it, you go to a beautiful place and a beautiful area. Because I've never been to Belize, but you go to a beautiful place and you're able just to be,
Yeah, come on through. You should sign up.
experience the peace. That's powerful. Bro, I
Thank you.
actually was looking at some land in Belize.
Nice. I
I
might see you there.
buy land like all over the world.
Yes.
That's my goal.
Nice.
But yeah, so definitely connect with Sonia Marie. And if anything, check out her YouTube channel because it is fire, y'all. It is amazing. I love the way she does her readings and the way she talks about astrology. It opens it up, and take it from me. I was religiously blocked when it came to astrology. I couldn't understand it. I didn't know. I just knew what my sun was. I didn't even know my moon or, my ascendant, none of those. And I actually went and looked through all that. And Sonia Marie gave me the most amazing astrology reading that I've had. And it was just on YouTube. So to me, I was like, if she does that on YouTube, what can she do in a personal one? Because I actually went back and rewinded it and took notes. So I was like, I need to know what she said because what she said resonated so highly, and I had never heard that before.
Thank
So I
God.
know that she is like amazing and that her readings are fire. And she has a thing now where you can buy them at the old price, but you can what you call it, or you still got that?
Yes, I have my popular reading is called the Grand Trine reading, and it's 90 minutes. And what we do is 3 different tiers of the read. The first tier is we connect with your ancestors and your guides. I have the ability to hear them, and they, instruct you in specific things. At the very least, just come by and say hello. And then the second tier is the astrological part, in which I bring up your natal chart based on your time, your date, and place of birth. And then lastly, we spread a 5-card tarot spread. Those readings are going from $350 to $450 at the beginning of the year. But right now, you can utilize a gift certificate that is located in my bio on IG in the link tree. Get the gift certificate and get the $350 price. Pay for it now, but you can schedule it for any time next year, or you can gift that to somebody else. I also do couples readings as well. Like I put a couple together, boyfriend, girlfriend, spouses, even best friends, or parents and their children, if you want to see how you relate to another. And then also something new is coming out, Tammy, next year, in the light of keeping people committed to getting better. I'm doing like a bundled situation in which, in my mind's eye, I see it like therapy, but not really. So it's a 6-month
No,
commitment.
because you actually help people. Oh, did I say that?
But it's a commitment
Yeah.
between me and them in spirit as well, right? Of 6 months. So there's 3 readings within that, but within that 6 months, oh, we're going ham. I'm tapped into you as I always am, and I'll utilize or will utilize certain other modalities and chants and things that come up to assist people through their challenges for those 6 months.
That
Give
is
them
so
tools to use. So that's going to be a whole nother price point, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And go to my website and you can see it all, especially at the beginning of the year, wordlifeastrology.com.
I can just imagine. I already feel it. The energy is like, because I'm
Listen,
warm. I'm
Tammy, they've been in
breathing.
my ear. They've been in my ear, girl. They're like, you need to get it going
Yeah,
now. We
yeah,
got things to do and you got to set it up.
yeah,
And I'm like, but what if nobody comes to the party?
yeah. I know. I know about that. It's like I did it, and because the last time I did it, like no, no. But
But
that's not
truly, to
time.
finish that sentence is, though, the last time I did it, they came. It may have taken a couple of minutes, but
And they'll
it's
come this time, and that's how
they'll
you.
come this time.
So, anything else that you would like to share with the people about anything that you're doing or anything like that? Just
No,
want to
I
give you
mean,
an opportunity.
all the information that you want to find out about Sonja Marie and my journey, you can always go to my website, Word Life Astrology, not world, wordlifeastrology.com. Also, I have music that's out, and you can go on YouTube and check it out as well, under Sonja Marie. But what I want to leave you all with is the courage, the strength, the openness to see yourself in the deepest way possible, so you can get better for you and essentially get better for the community, for your family, for the world. We are always connected. There is no separation. So I'm getting better for you. Can you do the same for us? Appreciate that. Just go deep into your heart and figure out why you're here on this planet. And don't be afraid. You're always, always with someone. You're never alone.
Yes.
That's it, really.
All right. So one last question that I try to
Okay.
ask all my guests.
Okay.
If there was anything in the world that you could change, what would that be?
If there was anything in the world that I would change, I can get really deep and philosophical, but the first thing that came to my mind is that it is a requirement for people to hug when they first meet them.
Oh, I love that. I love
I
that.
think that will change the needle on the thing just a little bit. You know what I mean? If you had to touch people every time you saw them,
Yeah.
at the
It
very
really,
least, that's how we can stay in communion. We can start feeling one another and be a little bit more responsible and accountable for the feelings that we pass off to each other.
yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. Every time I ask that question, I get so many amazing answers. That's why I keep asking it.
I love you. Cool.
Because I really feel like, that is so real because I do that.
Yeah.
I meet people and they're doing this and I'm like, no, I just come
Mm-mm.
bring it in. Come on.
Bring it
Come on. No, no. This is how we do.
in.
But so I did have one more question. So do you feel like we can shift? We talked about before about the uh how the colonizer thing with how they do. Do you feel like we can shift that in
Oh,
our lifetime?
it's shifting without, yes. It's not even, it's not something we have to do, is the point.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's
Being
shifting
done
on its
already.
own.
Okay.
I believe that this universe and our existence and evolution is just like a spiral. Things are going to come back when we need them, and it keeps going up. We spiral, but we keep evolving. So the modalities and the things that we use, the fashion that we have, the foods that we eat, or whatever the case may be, whatever is in existence is always going to come back. It's almost like, in my opinion, spirit is giving us another opportunity to benefit from what's being given.
Oh, wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So we're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
utilizing and recycling it over so we can get better with what we got. Because why? It's really not that deep. Everything is simple anyway. We only need 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different things. We don't need a lot. So we keep recycling the same things to get better at the same shit. I'm sorry.
Agree. I agree. No, I agree with that. Absolutely. That
I
was
say that emphatically because I'm just get perplexed sometimes by the fact that it's really not that deep. It's real simple. It's real simple, but we as humans make it difficult. I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. But it really isn't. And as long as I keep that on my dome, as long as I keep it really, really minimal,
mm-hmm.
Then I can navigate this world a little bit differently, in my opinion, and better.
Well, they wanted it that way because
Absolutely.
if you put it where it seems hard and looks hard, I mean, how they gonna make money trying to sell you shit that they know is rocks?
Right.
You
And
know
as
what
long as we're in confusion, and we can keep looking to them for the answer so they
right.
can continue to dupe us.
Exactly. And just like you said, it's a vicious cycle. It's a spiral.
Becomes that cycle. You can use that cycle for the good or the bad. Unfortunately, that's for a whole nother vibration. But we're switching
Absolutely.
it is the point to answer your question. It's changing on its own. It has no other choice. And the real contention and the wars and the problems come from trying to fight it,
Yeah.
trying to fight the evolution.
Yeah.
The people that don't want to change, that, that don't want to release the power or their reign, so to speak, it's over. It's
Right.
over.
You want to say, just let it go.
Just let it go.
It's over.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I have a favorite song, that I tell people all the time. Let it go.
Oh God.
Let it go.
You funny.
I'm telling you, it's like, just let it go.
Absolute.
Okay. You can release it. I laugh about it, but I always think about, for some reason, this comes in my mind. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Not Smokey the Bear.
I don't
That's
know if
funny.
you get that, but sometimes I get in the middle of a reading something to pop up.
Yeah, I always, for me,
Say,
it's music. But a lot of times it's music.
yeah, me too. I'm like, yeah, you remember that song when they said blah blah blah? Yeah, that part.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Oh.
Well, this has been amazing. We're gonna land this plane. I am so grateful that Sonia Marie has come on here and graciously accepted my
Thank you,
invitation because
Tammy.
you're so welcome. Because I saw her and I was like, I need her to come on the show. I was like, I need her to come on the show. I said, because I need her to talk about this stuff, because what attracted me, and I think I said this already before, but what attracted me about her is she brings it so simply. She don't try to go all over your head and, speak language. Because I would tell people, can you please speak English? I'm just saying. But she brings it down, breaks it down so simply, and you can tell, you can feel her heart even through the YouTube, and that impresses me,
Thank you
you know.
so much, Tammy. I
Oh, you're
appreciate
so welcome. I love it. And I love the fact that you love the people enough to bring that, because I could almost tell. I think you did a live thing on YouTube, and you were talking about how you weren't going to stop doing the lives, but you were going to start uploading. And I heard the reason too, and I was like, dang, I didn't know that, but that's good to know, because I like lives too. But you're right. If they're not gonna, push them
yeah.
out there, it's hard to fight that.
Yes, yes. And somehow, but more importantly, just to say real short about me changing my business model up and figuring this thing out is because at 53, at 55, but over 50, we have to, in my opinion, I think it benefits us to work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
Set up these last 20, 30, 40 years of our lives, however they're going to roll out. I'm not trying to do what I just did. Like, so I got to figure this out in a way in which I can stay alive and be thriving and involve myself with this prosperity that's finding us and be really joyful and healthy to receive it.
Yeah. Because it's not sustainable to do it that way for, and people try, but to me, that's what burns you out.
Absolutely.
You get sick.
Especially in this work more than anything. I don't know if I've ever shared this. I tried to the other day and I didn't give the full story, but I had a friend that passed away who was an energy worker, and he used to carry people. He was a Black and Samoan, and he used to carry people and simulate them. His name was 𝐂𝐈𝐒, by the way, to simulate the womb with his body and cradle people. And they would literally dump all of their energy and what they felt coming through their mother's womb in his body.
Oh, so he was doing shamanic work.
Yes, and he was holding it is the point. Long story short, my good friend passed away at 40-something years old. He had tumors all up and down his spine. So
that's just the result of all that stuff that he was carrying of other people.
That's my point. That's my point in working smarter, not harder, because at some point, we don't have to go through what these beautiful elders went through. We don't have to work ourselves to the burnt bone. They taught us how to be a little smarter, regardless of the work that we do. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to adhere to that. I'm trying to adhere to my friend 𝐂𝐒 taking it on. You know what I mean? Because that's such an old school ideology,
Yes.
You die, work to the bone, show them how resilient you are, how much of a worker you are, how much you can produce. I'm going to produce for my damn self, produce some joyous goddamn tears and a couple of joints so I can sit back on a beach with a beautiful man and sing a song and write a book.
It's the strong Black woman archetype as well.
I'm not with it.
And I tell people, I said, I had to release that.
Yes.
Because I had it.
Yes.
I worked 2, 3, 4 jobs while raising my kids and stuff. Because, I'm not even going to lie about it. I like a certain lifestyle and, I like to have money. And I felt like that was how I was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But once I realized I ain't supposed to do it like that. And then I seen,
you got choices.
No, exactly. If that's what you want to do, you do it, but I don't have to.
Exactly.
And when because I watched like my grandmother, I think this was the basis of the fear that I had from doing this work. But I watched her and I felt like they killed her because girl, and of course part of that was on her for not having boundaries.
Yeah.
That's the journey that we walk with this.
Yeah, and they didn't know those types of terms or the fact
they didn't know that you need to have them.
Exactly.
Because people would call her girl at 2:00 in the morning to talk about their shit.
I know.
And I was like, I can't go that way. And I ain't going in that direction. And I'm not going that way. I actually told my mom that I was like, I can't do this shit. I said, because I'm not going out like that.
That's for real.
I said, because I used to, when I was at her house, I would block them calls. I would just tell people she was asleep. No, talk to her tomorrow.
That's right.
But she would, if she heard the phone, girl, she would pick it up and she'd be like, oh, and I would hear them say, oh, Pastor Stan, you sleep? And she would say, oh, I was just resting. And I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
No. Because people don't care. They just want what they want and they want what they need. And so that was a thing too, that I felt like, in this arena we have to. So that about your friend was because people think that is noble. But that's not noble.
It's not noble. It's absolutely not noble. It's a way in which we had to take on some conditions, but we're not in those conditions any longer. Not like they were.
No.
Not like they were.
No.
We have choices, but it is something to get rid of that conditioning. No, that's the work that we have to do. That's the work that you and I are offering up to the people that are willing to hear.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that part too. It's like, okay, you're not for everybody.
Yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's okay.
I learned that the hard way.
Me too.
That's a whole nother show.
Work with some people that no, I didn't have no business working with them.
Yeah.
I was like, and I knew that even when I worked with them, but I was thinking about, and I was like, well, I need to make some. But you know what? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is once we learn, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's just about learning. There's no reason to be hard on ourselves. We didn't know.
Right. Didn't have
nobody help us with this. Didn't have a clue.
No. You're like, okay.
Exactly.
All right. So I appreciate all of you watching or listening, wherever it is. You can listen to it on Spotify, on Apple, Google, Anchor, wherever you get your stuff. What is that place? iHeart Radio and Amazon Music. It's all where you can listen to your podcast, and you can watch the premiere on YouTube. Let me see. Where are we at? On the 23rd, right before Christmas. You'll premiere on YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific time. And y'all know y'all's time and the rest of y'all. So appreciate y'all for coming and checking it out. Y'all, this has been amazing. My guest, Sonja Marie, she is the truth. I would call her a true astrologer and so much more, because I believe that she's like an awesome healer. And if you want to check out her retreat in Belize, get with her. Check it out on her website and reach out to her if you need to talk about it, right?
Yep.
Instagram is a good spot.
Instagram is great. Sonja Marie's on YouTube is Sonja Marie's Word Life Astrology. On Instagram is Word Life Sonja Marie.
So you can reach out to her on any of those platforms in this way, and then make sure you follow her as well on YouTube, because that's always a good thing, because she has such amazing content. I actually, when I found her, because this is what I do, I actually binge some of her stuff. So, so I can attest that it is good. Thank you for joining us. It's been amazing on Straight Outta Savannah. Aww. So you have just finished watching my guest, Sonja Marie. She is an amazing astrologer, among other things. She's an awesome healer. She has a retreat coming up in Belize. She's still looking for 2 more people. If you like what you heard, what you saw, make sure you reach out to her and see if that's something that would interest you. And also, she has also a special where she is giving you today's prices for tomorrow's sessions. So you'll get prices today that are going up next year that you can schedule whenever you desire, but pay for them now. So that's something that she has going as well. And you want to follow her on YouTube and also on IG. And she provides those links, and those will be in the show notes. But this session has been so good. I have enjoyed this interview so much, because Sonja Marie actually opens up astrology to a way that I could understand it. Because as a healer, people expect me to know astrology, but I have not. And I realized for me that I had a religious block in it. And so I needed to see if I could find somebody to help me. And Sonja Marie has opened this thing up for me in a way that I can understand it. And that is what you're looking for. So if you're looking for somebody to open up astrology to you in a way that you can understand it, and she's funny and she's quirky, and I love the way she does her lives and her videos, it's amazing. And it'll open it up so that you can understand it a little bit, because she understands the complexity of it and how difficult it can be to understand. So make sure that you are checking her out. And if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you would like to come on Straight Outta Savannah and talk about it, please send me a message. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you can message me on any of those platforms. If you're watching this video, you can actually comment on this video. I do try to check out the notifications as well. And if you are interested in If you're on TikTok and you're interested in a series that I've created on unlocking your spiritual gifts, and it talks about the 4 main spiritual gifts and how you can understand whether you have them and some exercises to help you to increase them, then go on my TikTok channel and go under series and click on there and get yourself one. And I think right now it is $1.99, like $1.99 for this series. And I think it's about 14 videos in it, short videos to help you to understand your spiritual gifts. So again, thank you so much for joining me on Straight Out of Savannah. Bye now.